All right, friends, same as yesterday, we're going to do Star Review B this time. You're going to go through and you're going to do the first page, and then we're going to go over it together. All right, for number 1, it says a marble rolls down a ramp and students measure the distance it travels off the ramp. How many centimeters did the marble travel? So if I'm starting off the ramp, if the ball starts right here, as soon as it goes off, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because the front of the ball is right here, and I started with the front of the ball there. So it should be D, 7 centimeters. Number 2, all of the following are examples of fossil fuel conservation except, so I'm looking for which one is not, walk or ride a bike instead of driving a car, buying a hybrid or electric car, burning coal to produce heat, using solar panels to create electricity. Well, all of those are going to conserve fossil fuels except for H, burning coal. If I'm burning that coal, then I'm not conserving those fossil fuels. Number 3, caves are usually formed under land made up of limestone. Once a cave is established, it can still continue to form stalactites and stalagmites, which only grow an inch or less every 100 years. So here you have stalactite, here you have stalagmite. Which is the contributing factor to the formation of caves and their features? So what makes them form? Wind, water, ice, or volcanoes? If you remember, we talked about how caves form. The stalactites and stalagmites form from that dripping water. So H. Number 4, all of the following are alternative energy resources except, so think of our alternative energy: wind, solar, geothermal, fossil fuels. All of those are alternative energy except for fossil fuels, J. Number 5, wind energy is mainly used to generate electricity. All of the following are advantages, so those are good things, of using wind energy to generate electricity except, so we're looking for all of the following are good except, so we're looking for the bad. Wind is free and can be captured efficiently. Using wind to generate electricity helps reserve our fossil fuels. Using wind energy cuts down on air pollution. Building wind turbine causes animals to relocate. Well, we don't want animals to have to relocate, so that's not a good thing. Number 6, look at the advertisement below. So we have super fuel. Make the switch from electric to biomass heating. Reduce your fuel bill to the rescue. Puts out 90% less pollution than natural gas. According to the advertisement, which statement supports that using biomass is a better alternative for the environment than using fossil fuels? So biomass is better alternative than using fossil fuels. What part of this? Reduce your fuel bill. Puts out 90% less pollution than natural gas. Make the switch to biomass heating. Super fuel to the rescue. So the one that supports using it is better than fossil fuels is going to be B. Go ahead and do the next page, and we're going to go over those together. So do this side, and we'll go over it. All right, number 7. In order to decrease pollution, so we want it to go down, and protect our environment, many people are producing energy from alternative sources. Which of these is an example of producing energy from an alternative source? A, using fuel made from oil in vehicles. B, cutting down trees to build a mall. C, building a dam to produce electricity. D, using soil that retains the most water. Well, if I'm trying to produce energy, it's going to be C, because the energy I'm producing is electricity. Number 8, alternative energy is being used across the world to conserve the Earth's fossil fuels. The diagram below shows the different forms of alternative energy. So here are all the different forms that we've talked about that's on our alternative energy poster. Which answer choice would best fit in the blank to describe geothermal energy? Well, geo means rock and thermal means heat. So is it energy from animals, energy from the heat of Earth, energy from ocean waves, or energy from fossils? Since it's rock and heat, it's going to be G, from the heat of the Earth, the center of the Earth, those rocks down there. Number 9, a science teacher leaves her house every morning at 7 a.m. On very sunny days, the sun shines brightly in her eyes, making it hard to see while driving. In which direction is the science teacher driving at 7 a.m.? Well, if that's her house, I know the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So if she's driving with the sun in her eyes, she's driving east toward the sun. Number 10. At times, scientists have found fish fossils in dry areas. What does this tell scientists about the dry area? F, the area was once a tundra, that's Arctic. G, the area was once a desert. H, the fish was moved into that area by someone. Or J, the area was once covered with water. Well, if there are fish fossils, then that means there were once fish there. They live in water, so at once that area was covered in water. Number 11, all of the following pictures are like Earth's rotation except, so we know Earth rotates causing day and night. So F rotates, G rotates, H rotates, but J does not. Those are the balls that just go back and forth, the pendulum. So J is not. Go ahead and do this next side and then we'll go over it. All right, number 12. A power plant in Iceland uses heat from within the earth to produce electricity. Hot rocks heat water, which then produces steam. The steam is forced out of the ground and spins a turbine. The turbine is connected to a generator, and the generator produces electricity. Which form of alternative energy is this power plant using to produce electricity? A, wind. B, hydroelectric, which is water. C, burning natural gas. Or D, geothermal, which is the heat from the rock. Well, it says up here it's using heat from within the earth to produce electricity. So that's D. Number 13 is kind of hard to see. So on that one, I just wrote that you're going to make a guess. But if you do look at the chart, because you're trying to find, on average, about how much more precipitation did Houston receive in August than February from the years 1971 to 2000. So if I label my months at the top here, and I find August and I find February, it's about 2 inches. I know it's hard to see this graph over here, but it's going to be about 2 inches. So that one, I know it's hard to see. So just go ahead and put that. Number 14, the water cycle is shown below. Which part of the water cycle would be affected by a severe drought? Evaporation, condensation, precipitation, runoff, or all of the above? Well, if there's a drought, then there's not going to be water for it to evaporate. And if there's not water for evaporation, then it can't condense. And if it doesn't condense, then there won't be precipitation. If there's not precipitation, there won't be runoff. So if one part is affected, then they're all going to be affected. So D. Number 15, students were asked to describe characteristics of the sun, earth, and moon. We did this in our chart in our notebook and then recorded it in a chart below. Which answer choice could fit under both earth and moon? So I know that the moon orbits a planet, but earth does not. Reflects light from the sun? Maybe. Atmospheric rich in oxygen? Well, the earth is, but the moon is not. Produces its own light. Well, we know that they don't produce their own light, so it's got to be G, reflects the light from the sun. Number 16. Craters are large bowl-shaped dents in the ground caused by the impact of a meteor or comet. The photo below is a crater in Arizona. Where can craters also be found in our solar system? F, the sun and the moon. G, the moon. H, craters can only be found on Earth. J, floating around in space. We've talked about that there are craters on the moon. All right, so you're going to do the very last page, the back side, and then we're going to go over it. All right, number 17, also known as number 4. Students add 500 milliliters of water to equal amounts of 4 different kinds of soil. So here's my soil. I have W, X, Y, and Z. According to this investigation, which soil type would be best for plants that need little to no water to survive? So they don't need a lot of water. Well, looking at my picture here, the one that needs or has little to no water is going to be soil Y. It's not letting a lot through. So that's going to be H. 18. Which fact about the sagebrush plant is beneficial in supporting the structure of the plant and absorbing water for nutrients? Leaves are covered with tiny hairs. 2 sets of leaves during the year. 3 levels of roots. Dull gray color. Well, what's going to help in absorbing the water and nutrients is going to be in the soil, and that's our 3 layers of roots. It's going to suck up that water to help it grow. Number 19, also known as number 8. Look at the diagram below. So in this diagram, I have molecules, and I labeled mine. These are liquid, that's a solid. I'm going from liquid to solid. So which process does the diagram show? Well, if I'm going from liquid to solid, if I have a liquid, I'm going to have to freeze it or put it in the freezer to make it go to a solid, like water to ice. And number 20, also known as number 4. The chart below classifies different types of mixtures and how they can be separated. So trail mix can be sorted by hand. Metal and plastic beads, I can use a magnet because of the metal. It wants to know how I can separate the pasta from the water. So which answer choice best completes the chart for the pasta and water? Place the mixture in the freezer. Pour the mixture through a screen filter to separate the water from the pasta. Use a magnet to separate the pasta, or use a beaker to separate the pasta. If I want to separate the pasta from the water, I'm going to have to pour it through a screen filter, kind of like the strainers and drains that we've used in class before. All right, you're going to go ahead and put this review in your notebook or backpack to take home to study for STAR, and then go ahead and get on STEM Scopes for today.